Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1, and it reads, Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahawah, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Brakatha Yahawah, Brakatha Yahawashi. Brakatha Yahawah, Brakatha Yahawashi. Brakatha Yahawah, Brakatha Yahawashi. Bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who teach well and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives throughout the four corners of earth. And to the Aquith listening and learning, Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin camp, here with another lesson. And now through the spirit and power of Yahawashi, we'll get right into it. Isaiah 30, verse 1, and it reads, Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahawah. Right? Rebellious children. 2/3 of our people. Right? 2/3 of Israel. Israel being a people before a place. You so-called Latino, you so-called Negro, you so-called indigenous, man. Right? 2/3. The rebellious children that take, and why are they rebellious? That take counsel, but not of me. Right? Everything that's contrary to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. That's what 2/3 places their trust in, man. And that cover with the covering, right? Cover with a covering. Right? Idol worship. You know, Jake says he's a Christian. Jake says he's Buddhist. Jake says he's do as thou wilt. Jake says he's Kemet. Right? This is what Jake covered himself with, man. They don't know. They don't know they're Israelites. They don't know that the Most High is chosen. They don't know that the Most High made a covenant with the children of Israel. Covenant being an agreement. Right? When you're looking at this covering,
Strong's H 4541. Masecha.
a pouring libation, molten metal, cast image, molten gods, molten image. Right? This is what Jay covers himself with, man. Idols. Right? America the Great is spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom. Right? And this is what Jake places their this is what Jake's faith is in, man. Casting of metal. The cast images of gods. Right? This is what Jake covers himself with. Idols. Right? Isaiah 30 verse 1 once again. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahawah. Right? You 2/3 that take counsel, but not of me. And that cover with the covering, right? All these false gods. They cover themselves with these false religions, false deities. Right? They say they're so-called blacks. They say they're so-called Latinos. They say they're Mexican. They say they're Presbyterian, Baptist, right? And that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, right? They don't cover. They don't know they're Israelites. They don't seek after Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. But they may add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, right? We said America the Great is spiritual Sodom and spiritual Egypt, right? Let's get that. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 8, and it reads, And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, right? 2/3 of our people, spiritually dead Israelites, dead from the head down, from the head up. Discontinued from their heritage, not knowing who they are, right? Dead bodies, right? Shall lie in the street of the great city, America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Why? Sodom, spiritual Sodom. What was taking place in ancient Sodom? Alphabet boy lifestyle, alphabet boy culture, right? right? Spiritually, it's called Sodom and Egypt, right? What was taking place in ancient Egypt? Idol worship, man. Where also our Lord was crucified, right? Here in America the Great, Babylon the Great, our Lord, Yahawashi, was canceled out. Back to Isaiah 30, verse 1. Verse 2, Salak. That walk to go down into Egypt, America, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, right? Strengthen themselves in this kingdom, man, right? Right? Pharaoh being a metaphor for the rulership of this of this society, the wicked, Esau's elites, their banking families, right? Strengthening themselves in the governments of America, their handouts, their stimulus, their perks, right? And to trust in the shadow of Egypt, right? Shadow of Egypt, right? We just stated what ancient Egypt took place established itself in idols. Idols is the shadow of ancient Egypt, right? Here in America, it's a melting pot of idols, man. You could worship this god, that god, the goat god, androgynous god, do as thou wilt god, Caesar Borgia god. This is the melting pot of idols, man. The shadow of Egypt. Verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame. The strength of Pharaoh, the strength of this society, Esau's kingdom, it will be your shame, you 2/3. And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, the trusting in these idols, the trusting in Babylon wine, right? Your confusion. Right, Jake don't know what time it is out here, man. Right? Ultimately, miss a food. 2/3 of our people are going to be missing food out here. Let's close out. Revelation 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the BEAST, right? If any man, and Jake worships the BEAST, the beast. Right? The beast being NATO and the EU. Right? Their wine, their philosophy. And his image, right? His image being a system. And receive his MARK, right? His charagma, which is his device, which is the CHIP, which is on our doorstep, man. Biden just made an announcement to look into the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. Biden just made that announcement, man. It's at the door, right? This is his MARK, right? In his forehead or his hand, physical. It's going to be a physical MARK, right? Verse 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. Right? What's going to happen? They're going to drink of the wrath. What is that wrath? These missiles in tandem with the laser beams from the chariots, what the world even calls UFOs, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation being righteous anger, and he shall be tormented, right? 2/3 of our people, along with the wicked, along with these heathen nations, right? With fire and brimstone, those missiles, in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, right? The angels and the Lamb, Yahawashi. This is what trusting in the shadow of Egypt is going to lead to, man. Right? And Jake can't let it go. Right? And Jake's going to line up in droves because Jake wants to hang on and make it on this side. Jake wants this to continue. Right? But the scriptures tell us this place is going to be melted. Let's close out. Right, 10-year plan, retirement plan, 401k plan, buying this and building this plan. It's all going to come to naught, man. Micah 2, verse 10, and it reads, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. This isn't our rest, man. Right, and us in this truth, Lord willing, we'll have that number, the hopeful elect. You know, we know we're looking at things spiritually. We know that this place ain't our rest, man. We know this place is true, and we're seeing the beginning of it, man. We're in the times of the beginning of sorrows, man. We're seeing it manifest, right? So we're spiritually attached from this, something that 2/3 of our people's unable to do. They want this to continue. They're praying for peace. They're praying for things to go back to so-called normal, right? Because it is polluted, right? Polluted with nothing but abominations, man. Nothing but wickedness, nothing but filth. Right? And ultimately, because it's polluted, what will happen to you if you invest in this place? It shall destroy you, even with the sword of destruction, right? It shall destroy you, man. This place is through. But yeah, that's it on that. Just wanted to touch on that. Stay prayed up. Pray without ceasing. Pray edified. I don't want Rawchaa. Kwam Yasharala. Wa Abad. Babal.